Okay, so let me share my screen and we'll start discussing the question bank. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this correlation matrix is given 1.5.51. Using principal component method, compute the loadings for the first factor. So what you have to do here?
Find eigenvalues, then eigenvectors, and then square root of eigenvalues into eigenvectors would give us
Correct.
a loading matrix.
Correct. So you have to find eigenvalues, eigenvectors. As we have discussed earlier, here also rho sum is constant. So one of the eigenvalues is very obvious, and that gives you second eigenvalue also. Because you know determinant or trace you can use to get the second eigenvalue. Once you get the two eigenvalues, you can get two eigenvectors, and then using eigenvalues and eigenvectors, just use the formula. You will get loadings. Once you have loadings, also compute commonalities and specific variances corresponding to one factor model for both the variables. So once you have loadings, you know how to use that Q matrix to get the commonalities, HII square. Once you have HII square, you can use 1 minus HII square as psi i's. So that would be specific variances. Is your solution unique? Justify your answer. And what percentage of variation is explained by the first factor? So when do you get a unique solution? I mean, unique means unique up to rotation. When do you get a solution unique up to rotation?
The d that with degrees of freedom is equal to 0.
Correct. If d equal to 0. So you have to compute with p equal to 2 and k equal to 1. What is the value of d? If it is 0, you will say it's unique. What percentage of variation is explained by first factor? Eigenvalue upon sum of the eigenvalues. The first means the largest eigenvalue upon sum of the eigenvalues. Compute correlation of each standardized variable with the first factor. Um, you have formula for correlation, right? We have studied in theory. Formula for correlation of factor with variable. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. The d to the power minus 1 by 2 into
Correct.
q of y, right?
Yes, correct. So, not y, x I think. Y was when we studied
Yes.
invariance. So, x.
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Yeah. So, I don't think there is anything else in question 1. Any other doubt in question 1?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. See, and another thing, some of you might be thinking that, if the exam is going to be objective, why should we worry about descriptive questions? But as I said, this problem solving ability is going to get translated into those things. And secondly, when you appear for exams like RBI or ISS, you might have to answer descriptive things also. Okay, so that's why it is good to be prepared. And let me reiterate this further, you're already losing out a lot by having an online course instead of a face to face course. So please try your best. Please don't take, you know, please don't break good habits by resorting to faster solutions, getting faster solutions somehow. Okay. So consider the following correlation matrix. Compute the loading matrix and a matrix of variances of specific factors for one factor model. Again, we will use principal component method here because maximum likelihood method requires numerical solution which we cannot do manually. So here we would go for PCA method again. So we have to compute eigenvalues, eigenvectors, the largest eigenvalue, corresponding eigenvector, and then other things are okay. Commonalities, specific variances, what percentage of variation is explained. Okay, now this part D is interesting. Compute correlation of each standardized variable with the first factor. Which variable might carry the greatest weight in naming the common factor and why? So what you have to do after getting the correlations, what you have to do?
mine actually first variable absolute value is 0.87.
Okay,
So
so
it is the greatest among all the variables.
okay, may I know who is talking? I can't see who is talking.
Shivan,
Sorry, Shivani ka?
Shivan.
Okay. Okay, so yes, we have to see which variable has highest correlation with the first factor, highest in magnitude. Okay, it may be negative, that is perfectly all right. You have to worry about it being highest in the magnitude. By the way, I don't remember if I mentioned this during PCA, probably not, but in PCA and the same thing can go in the factor analysis when you use PCA method. See, if I have this sigma matrix, okay, and I get some eigenvector, say nu, so we know sigma nu is equal to lambda nu. Okay, lambda is the eigenvalue. So suppose lambda is the largest eigenvalue, then we say nu is the first PC. Okay, but if I multiply both the sides of this equation by -1, then I'll get sigma minus nu. I mean, it is not sigma minus nu, sigma into minus nu is same as lambda into minus nu, correct? So if nu prime x gives me first PC, then minus nu prime x can also be considered as first PC. Okay, minus nu prime x can also be considered as first PC. So you have to change all the signs, all signs of all the elements in that eigenvector. If you change, then that also becomes first PC, and sometimes for the interpretation that is more useful. Okay, so for example, suppose you have some data on, say, age, height, weight, okay, and you are trying to relate this, maybe instead of height let me take BMI. And you are trying to relate this to, say, probability of getting hypertension. Okay, so and suppose you get first PC where age has negative coefficient, BMI has positive coefficient, sorry, BMI also has negative coefficient, weight also has negative coefficient. Okay, so if all the coefficients are negative, then lower value of PC1 would mean higher value of age, BMI, weight, and that would mean higher probability of getting hypertension. Okay, so for interpretation it may be slightly clumsy to say that lower value of PC1 would mean higher probability of hypertension. So you may want to consider minus nu prime in such cases. So you change all these so that, you know, for interpretation it's easier, that higher scores on first PC would mean higher probability of hypertension. So you can say that higher scores on PC1 are directly related to the probability of getting hypertension. Okay, so this advantage is there of the fact that if nu is an eigenvalue corresponding to some nu is an eigenvector corresponding to some eigenvalue lambda, then minus nu is also an eigenvector corresponding to the same lambda. Okay, and similar thing we can use even in factor analysis. Okay, even in factor analysis we can change the sign of the eigenvector and take that as corresponding factor. Okay, that if that helps in interpretation. Is it clear what I am trying to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am, understood.
But you have to remember that you have to multiply the entire vector by -1. So you will change signs of all the coefficients. You can't say, okay, I will change only for few variables and for others I'll retain those. That is not mathematically correct. Okay.
Hello, madam.
Yes.
In the second or first example, our D will be identity matrix, right?
Sorry. Yes, D will be
Our,
identity matrix because your variances are 1.
Yeah.
Actually, I have given correlation matrix so that calculations are easy. I mean, you can do them easily with like manually. That's why I did not give covariance matrices. Okay. Estimate the loading matrix and the matrix of variances of specific factors for a one factor model using the method of principal components. Software may be used. Compare the values with those in one and comment on your findings.
Ma'am, in this question what happens is the D is equals to 0, so it gives a unique solution.
Correct.
But if in the first part what we have done is we have calculated with PCA. So instead of that we could have gone with Haywood's method over there, since we have PCA in E part to compare two models over there.
No, but Haywood's method is not, it has nothing to do with D equal to 0.
Yes ma'am, but we can obtain our same factor model from Haywood's method as well, right?
No, Haywood method, Haywood method is, I don't think we have studied anything called Haywood's method. I have mentioned Haywood case, that is the case when specific variances turn out to be negative. So does that happen here? Haywood's case is the situation where specific variances turn out to be negative. After getting communalities, your communalities turn out to be larger than your variances, and as a result specific variance becomes negative. Estimate of specific variance becomes negative. That is Haywood case. We have not studied anything called as Haywood method for estimation.
Yes ma'am, that's my bad.
Yeah.
So here ma'am, on the both cases we have to go for principal components.
Yeah, so here actually I have said software may be used, so that's why actually I shouldn't have put it in the bracket. So I wanted you to compare your solution with the solution by the software, that's all. So this part anyway you can skip right now.
Okay ma'am.
Okay, so here see, this question 3 is Haywood case. Unique but improper solution. Improper means your specific variances turn out to be negative. Okay. So show that there is a unique choice Q and psi with this, but psi 33 is negative. Okay, so that is Haywood case. At least one of the specific variances is negative. Okay. Now I got what I was trying to say. Why I wrote A and D. Actually, sorry, I also forgot. See, here I have not mentioned principal component method because you have unique solution here, so you know how to find that solution. We have done this in the class. Does anyone remember? It's not called, maybe you meant that Prathamesh, but it's not called Haywood case. Let me write. That should refresh your memory. So we actually did this. We took sigma as sigma 11, sigma 22, sigma 33, sigma 12, 13, 23, and then we took q1, q2, q3, and we estimated q1 square as something, then q2 as some q2 square as something. We got solutions, right? Do you remember? We actually wrote down 6 equations in 6 unknowns. Does this ring any bells at all?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone remember which lecture was it in? So I can download and show you. That should refresh your memory.
It was in
Ma'am,
degrees of freedom.
Degrees of...
Lecture number 17.
Okay. So let me try opening the PDF for that. See, this is what I mean. So when there is a unique solution, you can actually solve the equations, arithmetic equations, and we get this formula for q1 square, q2 square, q3 square, and then using that psi 11, psi 22, psi 33. So that's what I mean in part A here. Okay, that's why I have not mentioned PCA here. So in part A, you are supposed to use these formulae. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
And in in last part E, you are supposed to use PCA method. Okay, method of principal components. And then you compare part A and part E. Solutions in part A and part E. I hope now it is clear
Yes, ma'am.
how the two things are different. Okay. So here also you are not supposed to use PCA method. Here also you are supposed to use this method. Same thing. This, and then you will get psi33 to be negative. Okay, in question 3. So if I want you to use PCA method, I would explicitly write PCA method in exam. Okay, now I'll remember this confusion, and in exam I will write explicitly if I want you to use PCA method. If I don't write, and if there is a unique solution, then you can actually find that unique solution by using simple arithmetic things like we did. Okay, I hope things are clear now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is again a variance covariance matrix, and loading matrix is given. So using this loading matrix, you have to compute commonalities and specific variances. So commonalities would simply be square of this plus square of this. So first commonality will be 4 square plus 1 square. Am I right? Or is it something different?
Yes, ma'am. It's the same. The
Correct.
Q transpose gives the same.
Correct. And then once you have commonalities, specific variances you can obtain by using these sigma i's minus the commonalities. The correlation matrix for chicken bone measurements is given below. The variables measured are skull length, skull breadth, femur length, tibia length, humerus length and ulna length. Femur and tibia are the bones present in the legs, whereas humerus and ulna are the bones present in the wings. Estimated factor loadings obtained by principal component method are given below. Use these loadings to obtain estimates of commonalities, specific variances and the proportion of variance explained by each factor. Again, actually there is not much to be done. First two are very easy, commonalities and specific variance. How do you get proportion of variance explained by each factor?
Ma'am, proportion of
I'm sorry, you are not audible.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes?
Ma'am, I think the eigenvalue for the particular factor divided by the summation of the eigenvalues.
Correct. But how do you get eigenvalues? Because I don't think they have been provided.
Ma'am, we can get it using the principal component method.
So you are saying that you would carry out eigenanalysis on this 5 cross 5 matrix. 6 cross 6 matrix.
Ma'am, using R or something like Dr.
Okay. If at all I want you to do this manually, then is there any way or it can't be done? What about others? Has everyone thought of doing it by software only? Yes? Is my question clear?
Ma'am,
Yes?
very.
I'm sorry,
Ma'am,
yes?
as we have commonalities and specific variance, so from this we can get sigma matrix and from there eigenvalue and eigenvector.
No, but sigma matrix is anyway given to you, no? This is the correlation matrix, na? So it is anyway given. So from this, if I want to estimate, I'll have to do eigenanalysis on 6 cross 6 matrix, which manually I won't be able to do in a reasonable time. So any other suggestions?
Here was formula like HI square upon sigma II. So do we have to use that?
Sorry, which formula?
SI square upon sigma II.
What is SI square? No, not that. That's a different type of proportion of variance. That is proportion of variance in each variable explained by the factor model. So that's completely different. Here we want proportion of variance explained by each factor, not the entire factor model. So of course not that. So what we are doing here, see, whenever you are stuck like this, try to list down what all you know about the things that you have. Okay, so let me write down what all we have. So we know that the first column of the loading matrix, so we have Q. So some entries I have here, so let me call them Q11, Q21, Q61, and then Q12, Q22, Q62. This is my loading matrix, right? What I know is Q11, Q21, Q61. This has been obtained as root lambda 1 times nu 1. Am I right? This is what we know. Am I right? Okay, so what else do you know? You want to estimate, you want to compute lambda 1, right? You have values of Qi's. Do you know something about nu 1? Do you have some information about nu 1? In general, what all things you know about nu 1?
It has length 1.
Correct. So what you know is nu 1 prime nu 1 is equal to 1. So can I somehow use that? So let me call this as, say, L1. Okay, first column of the loading matrix. So what I would know, L1 prime L1 would be root lambda 1 nu 1 into root lambda 1 nu 1 whole prime. Oh, sorry. This L1 prime L1, if I call this column as L1, L1 prime L1 will be root lambda 1 nu 1 whole prime root lambda 1 nu 1. Is everyone with me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So this would become root lambda 1 is scalar, so it will remain as it is, root lambda 1 nu 1 prime. This root lambda 1 is also scalar, so I would have this nu 1. So what do I get? I get lambda 1 as L1 prime L1.
Yes, summation is right by so.
Correct. And this is summation Qi1 square. I going from 1 to 6, which is easy to obtain than carrying out 6 cross 6 eigen analysis. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So if you are stuck, just list down what all you know about that thing. Okay, and that should give you some clue. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, so this will give you lambda values, and anyway the sum of all lambdas, it's a correlation matrix, so sum of all lambdas is going to be 6. So that you already know. Okay, I think done. This was the last problem, right? Yeah, so we are done. So do you have any other doubts?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you give any real life examples where
that the rotation is actually needed, or it is it will be a bit more easier in interpreting the things.
I am
By
unable to hear.
rotating.
I am unable to hear you. Can you speak a bit louder?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you give one real-life example where the rotating, where the method of rotation is actually needed?
I did present it in case study, that the Olympic example, where by rotation you could actually get the similar sports club together, whereas without rotation it was not happening.
Okay.
See, that's why I'm giving 2-3 examples in case studies, so that you get a feel of things. So the case study lectures are equally important. Please don't ignore them just because you're not learning anything new there. Any other doubt? So your exams start from Wednesday or Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Okay, so probability theory is on Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What do you suggest? Tomorrow, should we have live lecture on cluster analysis, or do you want me to discuss something else, or do you want me to not conduct live lecture?
It would be ideal if we get some time for preparation.
Okay, so tomorrow I won't conduct live lecture, but I will try to send 1 or 2 lectures on cluster analysis over the weekend. I don't expect you to listen to those lectures before the exam, but immediately after the exam, please try to listen to those, so that whenever we meet after the exam, we will try from the syllabus. We'll start from the syllabus, which is after the recorded lectures.
Okay, ma'am. Sure.
And your exam ends on Monday, right? Monday you have practical paper, right?
Yes, ma'am. It ends on Monday.
Okay, so anyway, next week we won't be having any live lectures because you have exams. We'll skip that. But as I said, I'll try to send some recorded lectures. So do watch them whenever you get time. Anyway, generally my recorded lectures are not more than half an hour long, so you should be able to finish them quickly. Any other doubt in whatever we have done so far? And in this, I will try to open the review for PCA, I mean the test. If there are any doubts or any mistakes in that, you can write to me over email or WhatsApp. Okay, I'll correct those.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then let us stop here. Thank you.